All right, sweet. Okay, so welcome to Thursday night rest and reset. And tonight's class is rest, reset, and digest. And of course, we know that our body digests much more than just food and drink. And this is where yoga truly excels. I taught a course on Ayurveda for an advanced yoga training last weekend. It was just a 2 hour, my component was just 2 hours. And I asked the students pretty much out of the gate, between body and mind, if they knew, and Ayurveda was new to most all of them, maybe like 85% of them. So if they knew or could take a good guess at which science, between the science of yoga and the science of Ayurveda, which science is designed to balance the body and which science is designed to balance the mind. And as you would guess, many of them said, oh, yoga is about balancing the body. But no, I correct thee. No, gently correct thee, of course, corrected them, of course, that it's Ayurveda that takes care of our body, that's designed to keep the body in a state of homeostasis, hopefully. And it's about prevention of disease and discomfort and suffering within the body. And yoga, all the texts tell us that yoga is about controlling the mind and bringing the mind into a state of, Desi Gachar calls yoga a state of mind. And I really like that. That's a nice illustration in my head. So anyway, circling back around to digestion. So we have the science and the art of Ayurveda to help with our physical digestion. We have the science and the art of yoga to some degree help with our physical digestion, to be sure. And we're going to do some shapes and practices tonight that are going to emphasize movement in the small and large intestine. So, in theory, that should help aid digestion. But also we know that what we take on board through all of our senses, how we're touched, what we see, what we hear, what we listen to, the conversations that we engage in, all of what we smell, all of this has to be digested and processed in some way, or it's not. And if it's not, we've all heard that saying, we have issues in our tissues because our body's not digesting or processing and assimilating well. So, our practice tonight is going to be low and slow, as is classic for restorative. You'll need one bolster. And if you've got a choice between a rectangle and a round, go with rectangle, but either one will do. We'll use one blanket and we'll use 2 blocks. We're going to start out on our backs, just flat on our backs. You can put the blanket under your head for a little pillow if you'd like. And I'm going to come down onto the floor and practice with you tonight. Yes. There's something so satisfying about lying down on your yoga mat after a long day. So for starters, just to check in, we're just gonna, you can have the knees bent or you can stretch your legs out on the floor. It's totally up to you, whatever feels good for your lower back. If you're gonna bend the knees, let them drop inward and rest against one another. Allow your arms to settle a comfortable distance from your body in any shape, in any direction that feels good. Bring one hand to your belly. And just notice what you feel. Notice, go on, Redbone. Notice the temperature. Underneath your hand, maybe notice the texture. Come on, Bone, come on. The texture of the material of your shirt. Sorry, I had to ditch a dog. There's too much heavy breathing going on in here. Notice the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe in and breathe out. Do you feel any pulsing under your hand? And I want you to listen deeply. Do you hear anything, any gurgling, any murmuring? Great. And then place your other hand on top of the hand that's on your belly. And we're just going to gently massage right around our navel. It's just very gentle pressure. So one set of fingers lies on top of the other set of fingers. You're just gently pressurizing, going in a circle around your navel. Encourage your belly to remain soft and supple. And once you make a circle around your navel, you can go a bit broader, a bit wider. We're just going to do 3 circles. Just notice what you feel, if there's any discomfort anywhere, any tenderness. The pressure's up to you. And make your next circle even wider. Go all the way out towards your hip bone. Very soft palpation. Come up under your ribs. And bring your hands to rest over your navel once again. And notice if that stimulated anything or woke up your Agni, your digestive fire. Now, lifting one knee at a time, pull your knees to your chest, please. And just give them a gentle hug in. And we're set up for Apanasana. Place your hands over your kneecaps so your fingers are reaching down your shins. Your elbows are bent, and when you inhale, you'll straighten your arms. Keep your hands connected to your knees. Push your knees away. And as you exhale, bend your elbows and gently hug your legs back into your belly. Good. Just keep going. Just keep the feet loose, keep the knees bent. I'm not trying to do an ab workout here. We just want a little bit of rocking on our pelvis, a bit of rocking on our lower back. But even more importantly, we're sensing for this compression and decompression in our belly. Breathing in, we push away and straighten the arms. And breathing out, we draw the legs in, bending the elbows. Good, let's go one more time. Set your feet to your mat, please. Keeping your knees bent, take your feet as wide as your mat. Take your arms out like a T. Maybe you bend your elbows if that feels okay. Up to you. And when you inhale, glide your knees over to the left. Just let your knees drop. You'll be on the instep of your right foot, the outer edge of your left foot. The exhalation will slowly sweep your knees back to center. And you're ready for the other side. Inhale, take your knees over to the right. And exhale, sweeping slowly back through center. So pretty simple, just from side to side. Go slow. If you want to move your head, you can move away from your knees, turning your head away from your knees if you'd like. That's not mandatory. When you find your knees going to the left, let's stay there for several breaths. Plant your right shoulder blade down, your right arm down. You might experiment with stretching your right arm straight up on the diagonal. Open your palm wide. Stretch the webbing between your fingers. This is a good stretch for your ascending colon. It moves up the right side of your torso. Good. And then when an exhalation presents itself to you, go ahead and sweep your knees back through center. Inhale, take your knees over to the right, and we'll stay here. You might stretch your left arm, if you'd like, up on the diagonal, if that feels good. Open your fingers, open your palm. Now we're getting a bit of length to our descending colon, which moves down the left side of our abdomen. Good. Slowly come back up through center. Walk your feet back onto your sticky mat. And then if you can reach out and find your bolster, grab your bolster if it's within arm's reach, we're going to take it and bring it over to the left side of your sticky mat. And just let it set off to the left. Pull your right knee into your chest. And we're going to do that Apanasana we did previously, but just one leg at a time. So as you inhale, so stretch your arms and let your right knee push into your hands as your right knee floats away from your belly. And when you exhale, gently with your hands, draw your right knee and thigh closer to your chest. We'll do that a few more times. Breathing in, straighten your arms, let your knee push into your hands. And then to exhale, draw the knee in. Good. Twice more, please. Compressing and decompressing the ascending colon. The liver is getting a little attention with this as well. Now, when you've done 4 of those, you're going to keep your right knee into your chest. Take your left leg down the length of your mat. Place your left hand on your right knee. Take your right arm out to the right, and let's twist. Glide your right knee across your body to the left. Ooh. And maybe your knee or your foot rests on your bolster. Excellent. And come back up through center, please. And bring your knee into your chest one more time. And place your right foot on your mat. Lifting your left knee, place your left foot on the mat. And before we move on, let's take the bolster over to the right. You can pull your left knee towards your chest and notice right away how it's different from your right. And then begin as you're ready. As you inhale, press your knee into your hands, straightening your arms. And as you exhale, bend your elbows and gently hug your knee and your thigh back to your chest. 3 more times. As you make your way towards that 4th and last round, hold your knee in close. And stretch your right leg down the length of your mat. And now we're ready to twist to the right. Take your right hand to your left knee. Release your left arm out to the left. And here we go. Oh, 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 oh. Hmm. Nice. Slowly make your way back up through center, please. Bring your left knee into your chest one more time. Good. And stretch your left leg down next to your right leg. Oh. Bring your palms together in front of your chest. Softly clasp your fingers together. I'm going to have you spin your palms up towards the ceiling as you straighten your arms, and then slowly take your arms over your head. Let your shoulders monitor this closely. Only go as far as it's appropriate for your shoulder girdle. And press through the mound of your index fingers. Press away from your head. Point your toes towards the wall beyond your feet. And allow your lower back to gently arch away from the floor. Big stretch for your anterior spine and for the organs of the belly. Great. Bring your arms back down to your sides. You can release your hands. All right, bending your knees, set your feet to your mat, and we're going to roll over to the left. I'm going to have you lift yourself upright just long enough to make a couple of adjustments. Bring your bolster across your mat, widthwise across your mat, so it's snugged up against your left hip and thigh. And then I like to fold my blanket a second time, so I've got a little bit of a higher platform. We're coming into lying side stretch. So that's what we do. We lie on our side and we stretch. So you're going to drape your right waist over the bolster. Draw your blanket underneath your head. So the idea is that our left shoulder and arm has some space to just relax on the floor. And then, door number one is to keep your knees bent. You can keep your right hand on your pillow if you'd like. Door number two might be to take your right arm over your head, fingertips to the floor beyond your head. Your shoulder will let you know pretty quickly if that's appropriate or not. And door number three would be to stretch your legs down the length of your mat. So pick any variation you like. And we're going to settle into this for several minutes. Big stretch through your ascending colon, big stretch through the liver and the right half of your small intestine, even your right kidney is getting a big yawn. If your legs are straight, then you bend your knees and stack one knee on the other. Pull your knees up towards your bolster. If your right arm is over your head, bring your right hand to your bolster. We're going to lift up onto our left elbow. Just rest your head in your left hand. I want to give just enough time for all those little muscles that support the spine, that run along the spine. Just give them time to kind of like relocate themselves after that big stretch. Now we can lift ourselves up the rest of the way. And we'll make a 180-degree turn, moving slow, of course. Snugging the bolster up against our right hip now. Here we go. Come on down. You know, and I didn't say this previously, but if you'd like your pillow to be higher, I mean, you can fold your blanket a bit more or consider putting a block underneath your blanket. That'll lift your head and take excess pressure off of your shoulder. So here we go. You know the name of the game. You can do what you like with your left arm, with your legs. Notice what's going on in your mouth and your jaw. If you need to separate your bottom teeth from your top teeth, notice particularly if you're holding any residual tension from the day, the week, the past month. Okay, if your legs are straight, let's bend our knees and draw the knees up towards the bolster. And set your left hand to your bolster. And then remember the exit strategy. First, we just come up onto the right elbow and rest our head in our right hand. Great. And come all the way up. Okay, so we're going to come into child's pose, balasana next, and I'm going to ask you to rest your forehead on your bolster, because the other thing I'm going to ask you to do is make fists with your hands, gentle fists, and you're going to bring your fist right into the cushy part, the cushy and supple part of your low belly, right? And then hinge forward. So your fist will be just underneath your ribs. Adjust yourself so you've got the space you need, forehead to your blanket. And once you get your body situated, we're not going to stay here a long time, but long enough. Once you get your body situated over your hands, then you can, much like a cat, y'all, you can start kneading your fists into your belly. And the pressure's up to you, right? I mean, you don't have to go real deep. You can manipulate the pressure. You can just be still with your fists gently pressurizing your gut, or you can emphasize your right fist and then your left fist. Once you've patted around in there a few times, then let your hands be still and just find a spot for your fist just underneath your ribs that you can stay with for several breaths. Again, manipulating the pressure so it's appropriate for you. Soft belly breathing. Breathing into your hands. More compression and decompression. Excellent. Slowly bring your hands out from under your belly. Set your hands on your sticky mat. Push the floor away from you as you lift up. Spin your knees out to the right. And we're going to come into a gentle twist. Take one of your blocks, place it underneath the head of your bolster. And then you can experiment if you like the blanket on your bolster or not. Okay. Bring your left thigh, outer left thigh up to your bolster, and then Both hands, please, or fingertips rather, to either side of your bolster. As you inhale, I want you to lift your sternum up out of your belly. And then begin to walk your hands forward as you exhale. Turn your head to the right. And slide your hands down your mat so they're about under your shoulders. And then you can slowly press yourself up off of your bolster stack. Let's do the other side. Making your turns and your transitions slow and deliberate, mindful and intentional. Fingertips to the floor, sternum elevating, lifting up, ribs lifting up. And then here we go, walk your hands up towards the head of your mat and turn your head to the left. Look over your left shoulder. Slide your hands onto your mat and gently lift yourself up. Okay, so we're going down for the count. And what I had in mind is Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana. So see if this will work for you. Now, one way to do this is your bolster flat on the mat, and then take your blanket and use this as a ranger. Go lay down. Use that as a pillow. And then when you roll back, you can place these bolsters underneath your outer thighs. So that's one way to do it. But I want to say this about that if your lower back is really tender, then this might not feel so great. It might not feel great at all. So if that's the case, then what I would have you do is lift the head of your bolster up. The more elevation you get underneath the head of your bolster, the less intense this will be on your lower back. And being someone who suffers from low back crap, I can tell you, we must be kind to our lower back. So what we would do in this instance is unfold our blanket a time or two. And make a big, I have no idea what this is, big pasta noodle, a big swim noodle. And then you place this over the tops of your feet, tops of your ankles. Allow yourself to roll back onto your elevated bolster. Feels really nice. And then as you drop your knees out to the side, you can flip the ends of your blanket towards your feet and create a little cushion. I actually really like this for a number of reasons. It's much gentler on my lower back, but also I like the sense of my feet being slightly bound. There's it's kind of a feeling of being very grounded and held together through the soles of the feet. And then here you are, you take the version that's appropriate for you. And I'll tell you what, if none of this feels good, you know the rule, ditch it. Take the shava of your choice. You can take your legs up the wall. You can climb up onto a sofa, get into bed, anything goes. Let your arms rest a comfortable distance from your body with your palms turned up. Invite your belly to be soft and expansive and supple. It's gently rising and falling with the ebb and the flow of your breath. Check in with your jaw. Notice if your tongue is glued to the roof of your mouth. And if that's the case, just simply peel it off gently and invite it to join you in Shavasana at the base of your mouth. Allow it to expand. Separate your bottom teeth from your top teeth so there's ample space in your mouth. And now we know, as the yogis that we are, that the yoga practice is designed to help our mind digest, assimilate, process. And one of the most effective and efficient ways we have to bring a peaceful, easy feeling to our minds so that it's more clear, it has clarity, it has some space to it, able to see and take on board the perceptions, the sights, the visuals, is through the breath. So you can begin simply establishing a rhythm to your breath, breathing in for 4 counts, breathing out for 4 counts. You can count as slow or as fast as you'd like. Just keep it like a metronome. Keep it steady. With a steady breath, we cultivate a steady mind. And if it suits you, you can experiment with slowing down your exhalations even more. And breathing in for 4 counts and breathing out for 6. And maybe lingering over the exhalations a little bit longer until you're exhaling for a count of 8. Now have you release your manipulating of your breath. Just let your breath find its natural rhythm, a pattern of its own. And you can reach down with your arms and maybe with your fingertips at your thighs, you can give your legs a little nudge, just one at a time, lifting one knee and lifting the other, setting your feet to the floor. And then before we get up, I want you to let your knees drop in against one another like we did earlier. Take your feet a little wider. And then one more time, bring one hand just over your navel and the other hand on top. And just feel, sense, and listen. Our digestion can be very fickle. Just like a fire, it needs constant tending, and that's not only the digestion of the belly, of food and drink, but digestion in our mind as well. Needs constant tending, needs a good dose of silence, rest, no screens. Good. And then from here, kind of visualize your pathway to sitting up. Decide which side you'll roll over to, and then go ahead and make your way to that side. And being very gentle with your low back, lift yourself upright. Nice and slow, easy and tender. And then bring your two hands together and place the base of your thumbs at your third eye. May our mind be balanced and clear as we move into the weekend. And set your fingertips to your lips. May our words be balanced and clear. And then place your hands at your heart. May our hearts be balanced and clear. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you rest well. And I hope you digest well.